How crazy is it that a CPU that launched for over $4,000 can now be yours for a measly 50 bucks? That is a mind-blowing 99% drop from its original price tag. And right here in my hands is the Xeon E52696V4, a legendary old-school enterprise beast from Intel. Today, we're going to find out if this 10-year-old former flagship can still handle modern games in 2026, or if we're just digging up a relic that belongs in a landfill. To satisfy your curiosity, meet the star of today's show, the Intel Xeon E5-2696V4. Back when it launched in 2016, this absolute monster retailed for a wallet-melting $4,115. But here's the kicker, I just snatched this 10-year-old former flagship for an unbelievable 53 bucks. That means it literally vaporized 98.7% of its original value. We're talking a price crash worse than the most brutal crypto market collapse. Going from $4,000 down to the price of a couple of Big Mac combos is easily the most insane depreciation I have ever seen. It has a bulky and much wider look than Intel's regular Core i lines, putting them side by side looks exactly like a giant standing next to little kids. Just look at its countless densely packed socket contacts, it's an absolute beast. For those who don't know, this CPU runs on a 14 nanometer process with Intel's old Broadwell architecture. But what shocks me the most is its specs. It has a whopping 22 cores and 44 threads, coming with an L3 cache up to 55 megabytes. This number is actually still insane compared to now, let alone 10 years ago. But its clock speed is pretty painful. The base clock is only 2.2 GHz and the max boost only goes up to 3.6. It's exactly the type with lots of muscle but slow reflexes. Will this terrifying core count compensate for the weak clock speed when gaming, or will it choke our experience? The answer is coming right up. To run this 150 watt power-hungry monster, I will be using the X99TF-Q gaming motherboard right here. It packs a whopping 8 RAM slots and 3 PCIe slots, which looks pretty badass. In reality, trying to find a genuine X99 motherboard from Asus or Gigabyte nowadays is pretty tough, because they are both rare and expensive. Instead, you can easily buy one of those Chinese X99 motherboards online for just $50 to $100. And my X99TF-Q motherboard right here is exactly an example of that. It comes from the Chinese brand Huananji. Yeah, I don't even know if I pronounced that right. Whatever, it works. One thing to note, this Xeon Broadwell V4 line absolutely cannot be overclocked. On top of that, it completely locks the RAM speed at a modest 2400 MHz. So even if you slap expensive RAM in here, it's just a waste of money. For that reason, I will be using this pair of 16GB DDR4 2400 MHz RAM. In total, we have 32GB, more than enough for us to conquer today's benchmarks. This CPU has a massive TDP of up to 150 watts. So I will be using this Cooler Master Tower cooler that looks pretty aggressive with 4 copper heat pipes and a 120mm fan. Hopefully it will keep the CPU from overheating. For power, I am using a 650 watt gigabyte power supply to power the entire system. This should be more than enough, right? And finally, the essential component, an SSD to hold the operating system and necessary apps. It's already the middle of 2026, we definitely don't want to see the system stuttering and lagging just because of an ancient HDD. To keep everything looking clean, I will pack the components into this case. Looks pretty sick, doesn't it? But the question now is, how will this 22-core monster perform in gaming when combined with modern graphics cards? I am going to throw it into benchmarks with these two GPU right here, the legendary RTX 2060 Super and the current People's Champion, the RTX 5060. You are no stranger to these two familiar faces, right? The system is up, everything is running smoothly. What we have here is the Xeon E5-2696V4 CPU with 22 cores and 44 threads. I swear. Opening Task Manager and looking at this dense wall of cores and threads is an absolute dopamine hit. Pairing it with 32GB of dual-channel RAM completes the package, the weapon is ready. But before we jump into gaming, I want to see the raw performance of this CPU right now. A quick run in CPU-Z shows a multi-core score topping over 8,000 points, which is absolutely massive. But the single-core score is straight up depressing, sitting at a measly 394 points. In Chrome, when I open a ridiculous amount of YouTube tabs, honestly, I can't even count how many tabs anymore. This is the exact strength of this 22-core monster. Everything is still smooth as butter with absolutely no stutter or lag showing up. Opening Task Manager to check, the CPU is still just sitting idle with usage at a measly few percent. This is absolutely insane. Let's kick things off with a notoriously CPU heavy game, and that is Minecraft. At absolute max settings with 32 chunks, the game still runs super smooth, and the CPU load is only hovering around 20%. Clearly, basic tasks like this can't trouble this monster's CPU at all. Moving on to Cinebench R23. In the multi-core test, the rendering boxes fly across the screen like race cars. These 22 physical cores are definitely not just for show. The CPU is pinned at 100% load here, clocking at 2.6 GHz and drawing nearly 150 watts of power. But the tables turn completely when I run the single-core test. It is painfully slow, moving at a snail's pace. And as you already know, modern games need high single-core clock speeds, not dozens of these weak cores. Alright, let's see if this CPU actually has the legs to handle modern graphics cards in demanding games. I'm going to pair it up with two different GPUs, the RTX 2060 Super and the RTX 5060. Every game will be tested at 1080p with absolute max settings. Let's kick things off with the RTX 2060 Super. First up is CS2, and I'm jumping into a deathmatch. The average frame rate looks pretty decent, hovering above 160 frames per second. The CPU is just chilling here, while the GPU utilization stays well above 80% most of the time. It looks like we aren't running into a massive bottleneck by pairing this CPU with the RTX 2060 Super. But CS2 alone isn't going to cut it. We obviously need to push it with some other titles. Now, while moving on to the ultimate hardware killer, Cyberpunk 2077. Running at native resolution, and the frame rate is surprisingly stable around 50 to 60 frames per second, though the 1% lows tanked hard to around 10 frames per second. The GPU usage stays pegged at 96% most of the time, but when I flip on DLSS upscaling, the FPS skyrockets past 100, but that comes with a catch. The GPU usage starts getting wildly erratic because the CPU has completely smacked its clock speed limit. The Witcher 3 isn't bad either. The frame rate looks okay, hovering close to 60 frames per second. The GPU usage also stays around 80% most of the time. We don't have any significant bottlenecking here either. So when pairing this Xeon CPU with the RTX 2060 Super, the resulting performance is pretty stable. The CPU is completely capable of unleashing almost all the performance of the 2060 in modern demanding game. But the story changes completely when I switch to a more powerful card, the RTX 5060. Going back to CS2, this time the utilization of both the CPU and GPU jumps around wildly and erratically. The average frame rate delivered is actually even lower than when playing on the 2060 in the previous test, even though the 5060 is significantly more powerful. A massive bottleneck has appeared here. With Cyberpunk 77, we run into the exact same situation. The usage of the 5060 GPU this time only fluctuates around 60 to 70%. The frame rate isn't any higher than last time either. So with the second test, the Xeon CPU clearly revealed its weakness when paired with a much more powerful modern GPU like the RTX 5060. We just can't get higher frame rates in games. The 5060 card is just sitting and waiting for this 22-core CPU to process data. It's clear that we are wasting the power of expensive graphics cards when forcing them to work alongside a 10-year-old workstation CPU grandpa. So to wrap things up, should we drop about $50 to bring this 22-core monster home as a gaming machine? My answer is no, especially if you aren't someone who loves to tinker with PCs. Sure, this CPU is incredibly cheap right now, but the cost of finding a well-functioning X99 motherboard nowadays, added together, will make the price of this combo not a bargain at all. And keep in mind, the power consumption of this 22-core monster is 150 watts. You definitely don't want to spend an extra fortune on your electricity bill. If the sole purpose is just gaming, you could consider buying a used Ryzen 5 3600 or a Core i3-12100F, which will deliver much more stable performance. Even if the initial price tag might be a bit higher, in the long run, it's a smart investment. This CPU is only truly valuable if you need to grind dozens of Android emulator tabs, run virtual machines, or leave farming tools running day and night thanks to its massive core count. But if it's just for casual entertainment, do yourself a favor and stay far away from this piece of tech garbage.